Hello boys and girls, welcome to another installment of JW Broadcasting.
Broadcasting.
Stephen Lett is back, and this month he's going to teach us why we should donate money to the Watchtower organization, to Jehovah. And stick around till the end because we have a brand new music video to cover. Yeah, it's about to get culty. You know, as always, we're doing the cringe challenge, so if you cringe, you lose, and when you cringe, let me know the exact moment you lost it. Are you ready? Let's get into it.
Please watch.
We warmly welcome all of you to JW Broadcasting.
Every time that Stephen Lett is on screen, I get someone asking if he's artificial intelligence. No, boys and girls, AI could never come up with such a character. Stephen Lett is 100% flesh and bones. The Watchtower could immortalize him though. Just have it like an AI Lett perform broadcasts posthumously forever and ever, which would not be the most bizarre thing they have done.
Humans are born with a strong inclination to imitate. In fact, very young infants have been observed imitating facial expressions. That's amazing. Makes me think of an experience I had some 40 years ago when Susan and I were in the circuit work. A sister told me that her little 5-year-old son was looking in a mirror and making various expressions with his face and eyes. His mother asked, "What are you doing?" He said, "I can't do like Brother Lett. I'll never be a circuit overseer." Well, I'm sure he soon learned that voluminous facial expressions are not a requirement for circuit work. In fact, they could be a disadvantage.
Apparently not, because you made it all the way up to the governing body by putting up the most cartoonish facial expressions known to man.
As a caution, we don't want to be theatrical in our speaking. That means we wouldn't want to use extreme gestures or dramatic expressions.
Fuck you!
By the way, thank you for putting up with me all these years.
You know, this is oddly wholesome. The test subject has become self-aware. There's no need to apologize, Stephen. Your overblown facial expressions and silly rants have given us so much meme material. This channel would not be the same without you.
I'm pregnant.
Now, Stephen is gonna tell us how we can imitate Jehovah's generosity by going back to the very beginning of time.
Eons and eons ago, Jehovah God was all alone. And even though it's impossible for us to comprehend, he wasn't lonely or lacking anything, but because of love, he generously chose to share the gift of life with others. He decided to become a father, a creator. Logically, he began by creating a son with whom he could directly enjoy fellowship. As we know, this son became known as the Word, as Jehovah's spokesman.
Okay, so Jehovah spends an eternity alone, and all of a sudden he wakes up one day and decides he's gonna create a clone of himself, a firstborn. And then he's gonna use this firstborn to create literally everything else in the universe, while taking all the credit for himself. Kinda sounds like a horror film, to be honest, when you put it that way. What's next, Stephen?
But then, at some point in time, again, not because of loneliness or lacking anything, but because of love, he chose to further expand his family by creating millions of angelic sons who could also directly associate with him.
And the vast majority of these angels will serve no other purpose but to sing praises to Jehovah forever and ever and ever. Also, they were created with the capacity to turn evil and to impregnate human women. You know, how could this possibly go wrong?
Yes, life itself is a wonderful, miraculous, and generous gift. Without this gift, we wouldn't be able to enjoy any of Jehovah's other marvelous blessings.
Yeah, like aquariums. Stephen then starts listing other supposed gifts from Jehovah. The fact that the earth is just to the right distance from the sun, and that it's tilted at the right angle, and other fine-tuning arguments you've heard a million times before.
There isn't a lot of real substance.
And isn't it amazing how the skin allows water to exit the body in the form of perspiration, but at the same time, it doesn't allow water to enter the body when we take a bath. Otherwise, we'd become waterlogged.
I knew it! It was only a matter of time before they started using AI videos. We wouldn't want to use real footage of a little enemy of God, would we?
An ugly, and I mean ugly, baby.
Stephen also claims the existence of fruits is evidence of Jehovah's existence.
There are about 10,000 different grape varieties worldwide. Jehovah could have given us just 2 varieties, red and green. But why do we have some 10,000 varieties? Because of Jehovah's voluminous generosity.
The existence of thousands of varieties of grapes is not due to genetics or evolution. No, it must be evidence for God. Jehovah specifically. Can't argue with that logic.
In addition to helping brothers in need directly, we can indirectly help them by making donations to the worldwide work. The governing body prayerfully strives to use wisely these precious, dedicated funds to help our dear brothers who've been afflicted by natural or man-made disasters and who urgently need suitable kingdom halls and assistance in many other ways.
Are you counting the thousands of dollars you spend in legal fees fighting against European governments? Or is that included under the disaster relief fund? How about the millions of dollars you spend relocating your headquarters or building movie studios out in Australia?
Speaking of the need for kingdom halls, as just one example, please look at these pictures from the Philippines.
It's always the Philippines.
Here are 6 before and after photographs. And what do you think was the individual average cost of these 6 new, simplified, but dignified kingdom halls? $21,000 US.
I know God wouldn't really care about where people gather for worship, but damn, these buildings look depressing as hell. Let me see. I only have $10 on me. How many cult compounds can I buy with that?
Please think about this. Jehovah's physical gifts, such as the rain, sunshine, and oxygen, are recurring. What's one way to imitate this aspect of Jehovah's giving? Well, 1 Corinthians 16:2 says, "On the first day of every week, each of you should set something aside according to his own means." In harmony with this scriptural principle, many have chosen to set something aside each month by scheduling recurring online donations.
What? I have covered dozens of examples of Watchtower asking/begging for money. That was even a recurring series back in the day here on the channel called Every Time Watchtower Begs for Money. But this has to be a new low. We imitate Jehovah's generosity by giving recurring payments to jw.org. What? Is this some sort of extortion? You're making Big J sound like a mobster here. Hey kid, you know how I provide you with sunshine and rain, which are completely natural cycles without evidence of supernatural intervention? Well, you know how you could repay my generosity? By logging into jw.org, inserting your credit card information, and donating to the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. You wanna be my friend, right? You wanna make me happy. This is crazy. Didn't Jesus say that God gives both sunshine and rain to good and evil people without expecting anything in return? If Jesus was with Stephen Lett in that studio, he would be flipping over the tables. Also, the timing of all this is just terrible, man. Like the economy is not doing very well right now in several countries. People are struggling to keep food on the table, and then this clown wants them to start recurring payments to jw.org as if it was a Netflix subscription. Get out of here, Stephen.
But now let's briefly contemplate Jehovah's spiritual gifts, which are even more impressive. Think about the Bible. Where would we be without it? Lost, hopeless, floundering. we'd have to learn by experience. The school of hard knocks. We'd need at least 2 lives to live. One to practice, and the second to perform.
Yeah, let's just forget about the millions of people in the world who have never opened the Bible and have gone on with their lives just perfectly fine. I guess they're all living in a constant state of anguish, a perpetual school of hard knocks.
For a final example, what was Jehovah's greatest spiritual gift of generosity?
Sexual relations.
The gift of his Son, to purchase us from sin and death. And it wasn't just any angel whom Jehovah sent. It was his firstborn, his only begotten Son.
So, Jehovah creates a perfect copy of himself in Jesus, orders him to create everything else while taking all the credit, and then sends him to die in order to forgive humanity under a silly blood atonement system that he himself created, all while he lounges away in his heavenly throne, away from any type of discomfort. Yeah, Jehovah really is the ultimate mob boss.
What if you were tied to a chair and forced to watch the torture and execution of your most beloved child? That would be horrible. Of course, Jehovah was not tied, but because of his great love for us, he restrained himself and allowed the torture and execution of his most precious Son.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that a psychopath comes up with. He created Jesus knowing very well he was gonna watch him suffer and die. What kind of sick parent brings a child into the world with the expressed purpose of watching them be tortured and killed? If Jehovah is all-knowing, then all of this was premeditated. No one asked Jehovah to create angels and humans with the capacity to do evil. No, I think he just does it for the kicks. It seems that an eternity of being alone in heaven melted his frontal cortex.
The word freely in English means generously and can also mean without charge. Is there someone you can extend true forgiveness to in imitation of our generous God?
How about you stop shunning disfellowship people? Or is that too generous for you?
We will learn forever about our great God and how we can better reflect his quality.
Yeah, hard pass, Steven. I don't need to follow the example of Big J to be generous.
You're full of baloney and malarkey.
The next section is Lessons from the Watchtower, also following the theme of hospitality. And this segment was actually not that bad. It's just a reminder that you don't need a whole lot of material things to be hospitable. Like, there you go. That's what Christianity is supposed to be. People being generous and kind to each other. Not recurring payments to jw.org, silly. Oh, but of course, this being a JW broadcast, they couldn't resist sprinkling in some doomsday paranoia at the very end.
There are so many different personalities in the congregation, and the time is coming when it will be essential for us to stick together.
We will face more and more pressure in this system of things. But we will be ever more thankful for the friendships in the congregation that can help us to resist this pressure. Together we are stronger because we can all support and rely on each other.
Make sure you develop strong friendships with your fellow believers, because you're gonna need to stick together once the Great Tribulation starts and the UN comes knocking on your bunker door.
How timely. We need that close bond with our brothers and sisters, especially when we suffer a painful, unexpected tragedy.
Next, we get a really triggering video about a family in Colombia, a country with a long, violent past, especially back in the 80s. This father was killed, leaving behind a wife and several daughters. You know, a very traumatizing event, and especially resonates with those who have lost a loved one to violence. But this hope of the resurrection becomes a powerful incentive for the daughters to stay in the religion. For them, remaining as Jehovah's Witnesses means upholding their father's legacy. And this is something we haven't really talked about in this channel, how the memory of a deceased parent can pressure their children to stick around in the religion. If you leave, you become a disgrace to the family. It's as if you were saying, I don't want to see my dad in paradise anymore. This is yet another example of how the Watchtower weaponizes grief to keep people in check by monopolizing the afterlife.
I carried on as if he was alive, trying to keep all my sisters together. And in the truth, some of my relatives who are not witnesses wanted to have some of my sisters live with them to finish raising them. But we didn't want our family to be split up, because that was not my dad's plan. His plan was for all of us to make it into the new world serving Jehovah together. All his efforts, all his life, and all that he devoted to Jehovah are not going to be in vain just because he was no longer with us. We couldn't let that all go away. In paradise, what I long for the most is those last words that he said, Jehovah, my wife, my daughters, is to be able to say to him, look, here they are. We are all here.
We made it. You did a good job.
I know these words probably hit close to home to many of you. If you lost a parent to death as a Jehovah's Witness, let me know. How was that experience? Did your desire to see your loved ones in paradise keep you from waking up and leaving the cult? Were you guilt-tripped by your believing family once you decided to leave? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so far we got reminders to donate, traumatic stories. What's next? Oh yeah, using children for propaganda.
Parents, your efforts to build faith in your children can produce a lifetime of benefits.
Yeah, more like a lifetime of religious trauma to deal with.
Listen to what these young ones say about the paradise.
In paradise, everyone is happy, they have fun, and it's a very beautiful place.
You can live forever in paradise so you can become friends with everyone from all over the world and become one big family.
In paradise, there are mountains, forests, rivers, lots of flowers, and you can hear people singing and laughing. It's exciting.
Girl, we already have those things.
You can't really go near animals and play with them now, but in paradise, they won't hurt you or try to bite you, so you can play with them and have fun. I want to have a race with the cheetahs in the paradise.
You want to sell the paradise hope to babies? Just mention the animals. They love that shit. Elephants, lions, pandas, whatever. Just make up scenarios and they'll believe it. What are they gonna do? Think for themselves? Little enemies of God.
In paradise, Satan will be no more. So fun will continue forever.
Yeah, sorry little one, but I don't think scraping corpses off the asphalt fresh off Armageddon or rebuilding the world from scratch falls anywhere near the definition of fun. Hell, with most of the infrastructure destroyed and very few educated people left on the earth, you would probably have to spend the first decades of paradise living like a caveman.
Right now, there are a lot of disasters and crimes. But in paradise, there are going to be lots of good and happy things. There will be smiles everywhere.
This kid is gonna be Big J's happiest corpse remover.
Sophia was imagining that she was in a garden full of butterflies. In Sophia's imagination about paradise, she saw the little Israelite girl that worked in Naaman's house, and she played with a lot of different butterflies.
Yes, girl, it was in her imagination. It's a cartoon.
Caleb and Sophia's dad said that it's good to picture yourself in paradise.
Because you can rejoice in the hope. By thinking about myself in the beautiful paradise, I can be patient during hard times. I want to live with my family and animals in a tree house with a swing and a slide. Here in paradise, birds are singing happily. This is me and my family.
Ayo, she's actually quite talented. A much better drawing than that first one. Nah, just kidding, that was kinda mean. Too bad this girl will never make it to art school if she's too busy preaching the good news in Bangladesh, a country with only 400 active Jehovah's Witnesses. That's one Jehovah's Witness for every 470,000 people. If Armageddon comes tomorrow, essentially all of Bangladesh will be wiped out.
I want to meet resurrected Daniel in paradise and ask him how he felt when he was thrown into the lion's pit.
Probably scared as fuck.
Jehovah promises so many fun and happy things. I think he is a kind God.
You know, I have a book which will probably change your mind. It really is that simple to indoctrinate children, right? Just assure them that paradise is gonna be all fun and games, and they're gonna have to play with their favorite animal and meet their favorite Old Testament warlord. It's almost like young children will believe anything that their parents tell them because they don't know any better.
Jehovah loves you, young ones. He wants you, your family, and all who love him to be in paradise. Learn all you can about the Bible, and when you do, you'll make Jehovah your best friend.
Reading the Old Testament as a believer is like finding out your best friend was actually a serial killer all along. So no, kids, if you want to keep your paradise hope alive, stay away from the Bible. Just keep drawing your animals and stick to your family's religion as if your father's legacy depended on it.
The Bible is a treasure trove, but discovering its spiritual gems takes effort. To help us develop good personal study habits, the governing body is pleased to introduce a new series, Dig for Treasures. In our first episode, we explore the book of Hosia.
Who?
Let's dig into Hosia.
Love to. So, for example, how did Jehovah choose to start Hosia's prophetic career? Hosea 1:2 says, "Go, marry a woman of prostitution, and have children of prostitution."
Oh my god, I remember we covered Hosia's story in one of the past convention rebuttals. That was a prophet who was ordered by Jehovah to marry a prostitute, knowing damn well she was gonna cheat on him.
It hurt.
All to teach us a lesson about Jehovah accepting Israel or something. It's not like Hosea could have just made up a parable or something. Nah, like he had to live it in the flesh.
Yeah, can you imagine? The first thing that Jehovah tells you as a prophet is that he wants you to marry a woman who's going to be unfaithful to you.
Bruh.
I wonder how he felt. What was his initial response?
What went through his mind, knowing that marital infidelity awaited him?
So Jehovah forced Hosea to be a cuck, essentially.
Many who have gone through that circumstance say that it's an excruciating and devastating experience.
Duh.
So, by having Hosea experience something similar to what Jehovah was going through with Israel, Hosea could better empathize and communicate how deeply the people had hurt Jehovah.
Yeah, I can only imagine the weight that gave to Hosea's words.
Now here's the big question. What does this reveal about Jehovah's personality? What stands out to you?
I don't know, that he loves putting his servants through psychological torture in order to teach us a lesson?
Hosea taking Gomer back wasn't to be mechanical. Jehovah told Hosea to love this woman again.
Yeah, that's a much different response than simply pretending everything is okay. That's restoration.
Imagine crawling back to a woman who constantly cheated on you only because Big J ordered it. I don't see how this story is uplifting. Like, am I missing something? What lessons can we draw from this?
When we are loyal to our brothers and sisters and work to restore a damaged relationship, even when they hurt us, we make Jehovah happy.
Forgiveness is a good thing. I think we can all agree on that. But forced forgiveness is toxic as hell. And it's also pointless. It's not really forgiveness if you're forced to forgive.
Another takeaway. Maybe we've hurt Jehovah by our actions in the past. Those memories may stay with us even if we've repented and gained forgiveness. We might find it hard to forgive ourselves. But that's not how Jehovah wants us to feel.
Hey look, they brought back Sonja Erickson from the dead. She's the girl from the awful disfellowshipping videos that Watchtower erased from their website. No, I'm never gonna let that go, Watchtower.
Why did Jehovah require Hosea to pay to buy Gomer back?
What? Hosea still had to pay to get his cheating wife back? Damn, my boy was really done dirty. Like, this has to be the Bible's greatest cuckmaster.
That's how we see each of our hardworking sisters, too. This is beautifully expressed in this month's music video.
Oh, man. It's time for the music video. Brace yourself.
We see you, sister. Always a smile on your face. You keep on going, though you may doubt your precious place. If you could only see yourself through our eyes, then you would know how we see you. We see you, sister.
I cannot reveal who exactly, but one of my cousins actually made it in this music video. I lost my marbles when I saw her. We actually kinda grew up together for a few years of my life, but she stopped talking to me once she found out I stopped attending meetings. Yippee. But she seems to be doing alright. I wish her the best. And as far as Watchtower music videos go, this one is actually quite wholesome. Just JW sisters doing sister stuff like preaching and cooking and building stuff for Jehovah. Women make up the backbone of this religion. They're the hardest workers and the most dedicated preachers. But of course, it's mostly the men that end up taking the credit.
Dear sisters, you are wonderful examples. We appreciate all that you do. We love you dearly.
We love you dearly. Just stay away from positions of authority, please. Those are only with people with penises.
From the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, this is JW.
Thank you, Stephen, for another banquet of spiritual food. Please stick around as long as possible, my little sheep. This channel would not be the same without your shenanigans. So guys, August JW broadcast, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know the exact moment you lost the cringe challenge because I love reading your comments. A special thank you to my Patreons and channel members. This channel would not be possible without you. If you would like to support my work, please head on over to Patreon or become a channel member. It's only $1 a month, and you gain early access to all my videos. Thank you so much. Take it easy guys, have a wonderful day, and stay away from the tower.
Receive early access to every Panda Tower video, and your name will appear in the end credits of every video. Wowee!
Adiós, ovejita.